Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic day. It's a Monday, getting the week started. Some things like if you ate bad over the weekend, you get to, hey, Monday, it's a starting point, fresh slate, kind of almost like New Year's resolution, but just happens more often throughout the year. Call this Money Monday. And what I'm going to talk about is what an annuity is. And I highly suggest I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a regular Joe that's done well for himself, thank you God. And I have found that one of the best ways to be successful is to educate yourself. And so I've done a lot of studying on money and how money works, different ways to make more money, different ways to make money without having to work. And one of those that is not the best, and a lot of people, it's got a bad connotation to it, but it's called an annuity, okay? And you'll find a lot of insurance companies have these products. And let's talk about that word product when it comes to financial industry. It's real easy for us to call it a product instead of saying an investment or your money. Okay, just the same reason as I go play poker. We don't play cash on the table, we buy chips. Those chips get spent and thrown around a whole lot easier than if you had 5s, 10s, 20s, and 100s on the table. I have played in a cash game, and it plays much different than a game with chips. And so the thing about it is that they use these terms like product, okay? And it's just another vehicle for an investment, okay? Or they'll call it an investment. An investment is something that has the potential to return more money to you than what you started with, okay? You buy gold, you wait a few years, when you go to sell, hopefully it's at a higher price than when you purchased it. Boom, there you made some money. You buy a house in bad shape, you fix it up, you turn around, you put it on the market, charge a higher price than what you paid for it and all your expenses, and hopefully you make a profit. Then it was an investment. Well, if you do that with a house and it doesn't sell for you to make money, and it actually sells for less than what you have into it, well, that was not a great investment because you lost money, okay? Anything that puts money in your pocket is what we call an asset. A lot of people tell you, hey, my personal house is an investment. It is not, unless you're renting out rooms, because it's actually a liability. You got to put money into it. So just for clarification, but basically what an annuity is, an annuity is a type of CD with some different twists to it. And there's many different variations of an annuity, okay? So do your research, always do your research. But basically it's like, hey, I'm gonna invest $50,000 at 5% for 5 years, okay? And you have to leave it in there that 5 years, okay? And you get a certain amount each year back, or get paid into it as interest, as a fee you get paid for them having your money. If you withdraw it before the 5 years, very stiff penalty, so you lose money, and then at the end of that 5 years, you can withdraw the chunk, or a lot of times it's set up to where you're getting paid a certain amount of money each month, like $400, maybe $300, whatever it is, okay? And that will go on for possibly until the day you die, or it could be for a specified time, 10 years, 7 years, 12, 15 years, whatever it is, okay? There's many different variations of this. And where it is beneficial, okay, because this is guaranteed. And this type of investment is very applicable in the sense of, I would say probably after the age of about 50, okay? And we're starting to look at different vehicles because now we're in a situation in life where maybe physically we just don't have the energy and drive that we did in our 20s and 30s, and so we're no longer in a potential huge growth phase that we've hopefully built a chunk, we've got a nest. And what we want to do is we want to hold on to it. We want to preserve the wealth. And so we go through these phases throughout our life in the sense of like, and I'm just using this for an example. I'm not suggesting this to anybody, but in your early 20s, you start investing. We'll just say 95% is everything is growth. It's got risk to it, okay? And hopefully everything pays off well. And then you get into your 30s, and then we start tapering off. And now we're at 75% growth and 25% for stability, okay? And then as time goes on, we get less out of growth, so we don't want the volatility, okay? And so then we move it more into what we call wealth preservation. We want to hold on to what we have. The thing about it is that there's many different vehicles that you can do that with. Annuities, generally speaking, pay pretty good compared to other things on the market that are guaranteed, okay? As opposed to, if we invest in CLM or NVIDIA or, Meta or, Vanguard, any of those products, nothing's guaranteed with those. Okay, all we can do is look at a track record over the last 15, 25 years, whatever how long that fund's been in existence, and hopefully it'll do the same for us. But there's a time when we have to take that money out of growth and start putting it into preservation. We want to hold on to it, okay? Now, one of the safest things you can do is leave it in the bank, all right? Well, the bank don't pay squat. Most banks are less than 1%. Now, what I will suggest is get out there and search around. The bank that I keep the majority of my money in, it pays 2.75%. When I first got into it, it was paying 5%, all right, which is not bad, okay, especially for the liquidity of the money as far as, I could go in there Monday through Friday, walk in and make a withdrawal, okay? With an annuity, you can't. With a CD, you can't. And those are basically two of the most pretty safest investments that a person can make. The problem with them is that they're not outpacing inflation, generally speaking. If we got a year where prices only go up 3%, then yeah, you might make a little bit or just remain even. Now, generally speaking, the last couple of years, no, it has not. If you've been making 7%, you've been breaking even. Anything over that, you're starting to see a little bit of a profit. So, thing about it is that, do your research, but also don't be cavalier and reckless with your money. Over time, our needs are going to be changing, and as where we're at in life is going to be changing as well. So the thing about it is we have to change our investing strategy. So that's Money Monday with Robert. I hope you're doing well. Every Monday I'm going to cover something having to do with finances. These are what annuities are. I'm just basically, breaking it down. Go to Google and just say, what is an annuity? And then read what it has to say. I've never been real keen on them because they don't pay real well. However, the advantage to them is that it's safe, okay? It's guaranteed. Your money's gonna be there. So, you gotta ask yourself, am I in a position where if I lose it, can I go back and make it? And I'm at 54 and, I don't have the get up and go I used to like I did 20 years ago, okay? My days of crawling underneath houses and whatnot are quickly coming to an end, and I really don't want to be in that position anymore. So any comments or anything, if you'd like 15 minutes of my time, in the description on the video is my email address. Send me an email, include your phone number, and I will give you a call. Have a fantastic day.